myself to the Quran, but also sources that talk about Muhammad's life and death. Because my friend tonight will admit, the Quran doesn't say much about Muhammad. In fact, if I asked him how many wives he had, from the Quran he can't answer that. How old was Aisha when he married her? From the Quran he can't answer that. Who was the first caliph when Muhammad died? From the Quran he can't answer that. Who is Abu Lahab? He can't answer that from the Quran. He's forced to go to the same sources that I'm about to appeal to demonstrate that Muhammad cannot be a true prophet of the true God. Some of the teachings that, in my estimation, no rational person could accept as being inspired by God. Because don't forget, Muslims tell us that when Muhammad spoke, he spoke by inspiration. The Quran is divine dictation, but when Muhammad speaks, when it comes to matters of the unseen, and matters of faith and history related to the prophets, he does so by inspiration, by wahi. Well, let me give you some of these teachings, and we'll look at some of the scientific absurdities of the Quran and the Sunnah. Bukhari, volume 4, book 55, number 543. Narrate Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, Allah created Adam and his height was 60 cubits. According to Muhammad, Adam, when he was created, was 90 feet tall, just as about large as this building. Now, how many of you believe that? Now, if Adam was 90 feet tall, was Eve 90 feet tall? Well, if she was 90 feet tall, how tall were their children? And what happened to us? Why did we become midgets in comparison to them? That's Muhammad, that's not me. So, again, if you think this is silly and irrational, take it up with Muhammad.
Sometimes when we need to address Christians about their Bible, and they address us, it seems like they don't know that these things that they are claiming are actually in their Bible, or maybe they're trying to hide it just so they can make a point to make people go into Christianity by making false claims. This is Deuteronomy in the Bible, chapter 2, verse 20 to 21. That also was accounted a land of giants. Giants dwelt therein in old time. And the Ammonites called them Zemims, people great and many and tall, as the Anakims. But the Lord destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead. So it shows that these people are compared to Anakims, which are people great, and they are very tall people in stature, meaning giants. But God is trying to show that even if they are giants and great people and strong people and have power, He still destroyed them. Chapter 2 of the Bible in Amos, verse 9, it says, "Yet destroyed I the Amorite before them, whose height was like the height of the cedars," meaning the cedar trees, compared to the cedar trees how tall they are, "and he was strong as the oaks." Numbers 13, chapter 13 of the Bible, verse 32 to 33, it says, "The land we traveled through and explored will devour anyone who goes to live there. All the people we saw were huge. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak," meaning there also we saw the Nephilim. The sons of Anak are part of the Nephilim. Next to them, meaning the Nephilim, we felt like grasshoppers, meaning we are size of grasshoppers. They were bigger than us, huge giants, and that's what they thought too. We go to 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 4 to 7. Goliath came out of the Philistine camp. He was over 9 feet tall. He had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scale armor, weighing 5,000 shekels. His spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, and its iron point weighed 600 shekels. So it looks like there were also giants, and from time to time the giants kept decreasing in size, just like the Prophet Muhammad said in the Sahih Bukhari hadith about explaining the height of Prophet Adam and how the heights of humans continue to decrease from generations to generations.
Let's talk about what Muhammad thought about Satan. Are you aware that Satan urinates? Satan stays up in upper part of your nose all night, and that Satan also farts? Are you guys aware of this? Again, this is what Muhammad taught. Sahih Bukhari, volume 2, book 21, number 245. Narrated Abdullah, a person was mentioned before the Prophet, and he was told that he kept on sleeping till morning and has not gotten up for the Fajr, early morning prayer. The Prophet said Satan urinated in his ears. In other words, he couldn't hear the call to prayer because Satan that morning went up to his ear and started pissing in his ear.
It would be kind of silly to say that Jesus, God, who came into human form, did not go and piss, did not go and eat, did not go and urinate. And he also was born, right? Imagine like God was born from Mary's, private part. So here we see that I don't think this guy knows what possession is. So in Mark chapter 5 to 12, and all the devils sought him, saying, meaning to Jesus, they're saying to Jesus, send us into the swine that we may enter into them. The next verse in Mark chapter 5 verse 13, and immediately Jesus gave them leave, meaning he took out the demons from that possessed man, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the pigs or the swines. So clearly it shows that a possession means that the devil takes control of the person. In other words, the devil enters the person. So why you have a problem that it's impossible for him to enter the nose?
Now we have an evolution where human beings evolved from primates, right? Human beings evolved from primates. But if you actually read the Quran, it seems that Muhammad believed in the reverse. Because Muhammad believed that Jews were transformed into pigs and swine, and a group of Jews were transformed into a pack of rats. Jews were transformed into rats. Now how did Muhammad know? Well, let me tell you. Bukhari volume 4, book 54, number 524. Let me read this. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, a group of Israelites were lost. We couldn't find them. Nobody knows what they did. But then, look what Muhammad says, but I do not see them except that they were cursed and transformed into rats. So a group of human beings were transformed miraculously by Allah into rats. Well, how do you know, Muhammad? Here's how he knows. For if you put the milk of a she-camel in front of a rat, it will not drink it. But if the milk of a sheep is put in front of it, it will drink it. I told this to Ka'b, who asked me, did you hear it from the Prophet? Even he was incredulous. Wait, hold on. Did you really hear that from the Prophet? He goes, yes, I did. Really? He said that? Yes. Did you see how Muhammad determined whether these rats were Israelites? According to the law of Moses, camel meat and milk are forbidden. These rats would not drink camel milk. Therefore, they must be the lost tribe of Israel transformed into rats.
So it's trying to say there's no scientific proof that rats are, the Israelites were turned into rats. I'm going to ask him a question. Is there a proof that, according to the Bible, that Moses, God turned his wooden stick into a snake? In Exodus chapter 4 of the Bible, verse 3, it says, and he said, meaning God, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from before it.
Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet said, the people of Bani Israel used to take bath naked, all together, looking at each other. Prophet Musa, meaning Moses, used to take bath alone. They said, by Allah, nothing prevents Moses from taking a bath with us except that he has a scrotal hernia. You understand the objection? The Muslims, the Jews at the time of Moses were saying, he's too embarrassed to bathe with us naked because he has a physical defect, so he wants to hide that defect. Well, Allah heard and got angry. He heard the slander against his prophet. So what did Allah do to vindicate his prophet? Watch. So once Moses went out to take a bath and put his clothes over a stone, and that stone ran away with his clothes. Moses followed that stone saying, my clothes, O stone, where are you going? My clothes, O stone. My clothes, O stone. Till the people of Bani Israel saw him and said, by Allah, Moses has got no defect in the body. Did you catch that? How did Allah vindicate Moses? Have him chase after a stone who took off running with his clothes so that Moses could be naked, fully naked, so they could see even his genitalia, in full view of a multitude of people so they can glaze out his body. Wow! He's ready for bodybuilding competition. His body is flawless. But it gets a little better. Abu Hurairah said this, by Allah, Moses took his clothes and began to beat the stone. And then Abu Hurairah says, by Allah, there are still 6 or 7 marks present on the stone from that excessive beating. Did you catch it? Not only did Moses take a stone and beat it, 2,200 years later, that stone still had the marks of the beating it took from Moses, the messenger of Allah.
As for him trying to say that there is also no scientific proof that a stone could run away, In Matthew, in the Bible, Matthew chapter 17, verse 20, and Jesus said unto them, meaning his disciples, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain, remove and hence to yonder place, so remove yourself from this place and go to another place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. So even Jesus is saying that nothing will be impossible for his disciples if they have full belief, or belief that is small as a mustard seed. They'll be able to do anything, even move the mountain, say the mountain move, the mountain will carry itself and go throw itself in the sea or anywhere it wants. To end this off and destroy Sam Shamoun, he says that the mark of when Moses hit the rock and made a mark with his stick, the mark still exists today. Look at the Bible, Numbers chapter 20 verse 11. And Moses lifted up his hand and struck the rock with his staff twice, with a wooden staff, and water came out abundantly. So the rock broke by a wooden staff. It is impossible according to today's generation, because this is actually a miracle. Okay, he was able to break a hard stone with his stick, okay, and make water come out abundantly, and the congregation drank and their livestock. So the water came out of the stone by Moses hitting with his staff, wooden staff, the stone, and the stone eventually broke. So why you have a problem with the mark?